I'll be clarifying the two main reasons you feel sad when you do, what sadness is and what it's really telling you, and how to listen to sadness as the voice from within your own body. I'm Matthew Zoltan, and for the past 40 years I've been helping people heal themselves by learning to listen to their own body and to be guided by the natural meditations that are actually the processing feelings within our bodies. When you really think about it, you will know this as well, and that is that there are two main reasons for feeling sadness. One level is you know that you're sad for a particular reason. Something's happened in your life which saddens you, and you feel the sadness for that. But the other reason is just an ongoing feeling of sadness that is in you for no known or cognitive reason. So we have this known sadness and we have these unknown sadnesses. Both are very important. So the sadness that is there as a knowing is when you know something's happened to you and feel sad about it. You've lost someone, or someone's got hurt, or someone's upset you, treated you badly, and you feel sad about it. You know exactly what's happened there. To feel that sadness is very important. To feel that sadness enables it to simply dissipate and come to its own natural end as the ending and the healing of the effect of how you've been treated. The other level of sadness is a little bit more difficult at first because it's a sadness that can be there a lot of the time. So a sadness that is easily triggered in you for no apparent reason, whether it's like an overreaction or an over concern to life around you, where it becomes very, very dominating, where it actually becomes so distressful to be in that sadness that you start to complain about it to yourself. You start to react to it. When you start to react to your sadness and not knowing why that sadness is there, this is primarily because there's a deeper underlying hurt that you've lost touch with. It's like in the nature of trauma. When there's trauma in the body, a person will often feel that trauma only by the presence of the sadness that is there, having been traumatized. But this deeper presence of sadness that has been there for a long time will have a lot more hurt and sadness in it usually, and this therefore will take longer to heal, just because there's more of it. So the more sadness that's there, even though you don't know why it's there, you know it's there. It's a very familiar feeling to you. You just need to feel that. By feeling it in the right way, which you'll learn about today, you will recover not only the sadness, but you'll recover not only from feeling sad all the time, but in recovering from feeling sad all the time, you are literally recovering and healing from your trauma or the thing that, or the effect of what's hurt you. Whereas on the more superficial level, where something's just upset you today, you're sad over a loss, you're sad over a concern, you're sad over a treatment, that sadness is the way you really feel. But what often happens is this sadness is masked by fear and anger. Either we become angry with things around us, we become angry about life, we become an angry person in general, or a fearful and timid person in general, frightened of life, frightened of people. And these two emotions are really masks to this deeper level of sadness. So beneath these more superficial levels of emotionalisation, which is anger and fear, beneath this we'll find right at the very roots of this, we've been hurt or we've been upset. So being hurt or upset or harmed, the very roots beneath any sort of emotionalised, supercharged behaviours such as sadness or fears or any reactions that we have to that feeling or to the world outside of us because of being this way in ourselves. Any reactions we have is really a surface externalization, which is complicating and distracting from how you really feel. So when you're angry or fearful, this is in connection to other people and things outside of you. But when you're sad, just sad, this is all about the effect on you. So in this sense, sadness, I would say, is the purest and cleanest feeling in the healing process. When we actually get back to the primary root effect, the first effect and the real effect of how we've been affected by a hurt or a harm in life, we are simply very sad. And we're sad in ourselves and even for ourselves. But primarily, we are simply in the feeling of being sad, not having any knowledge about why we're sad. What we know about what has hurt us, we get caught up in thinking about what's hurt us and what's harmed us. Then we tend to become either basically fearful or angry. When we're thinking about what's happened to us, things we actually know about, this is a distraction from just feeling the underlying feeling of sadness. When we come back to the feeling underneath, the feeling of how we're truly affected, the cleanest and purest original core feeling, we'll find we're simply sad. And in that simple, pure state of feeling, in the sensations of our own body, where we hold sadness through our chest and our lungs, mostly, by feeling it there and just feeling in our body, we are actually in full, complete response to ourselves and giving ourselves exactly what we need. Whereas when we are in reaction to, complaining about, in fear of, or anger towards the things that have caused sadness in our life, we get very, very removed from the actual real feeling and the softer feeling of sadness in ourselves, get caught up in the emotionally charged, thought-charged states of complaints and rage and reaction to the world outside of us, whether it's rage or fear. Now, once we're into this state, this can perpetuate itself over and over again. And in this state of mental reaction, of anger and fear towards what's caused the sadness or towards life because of the sadness inside of us, in this state we can't heal. We're not actually healing the effects that are driving that anger and that fear. And in order to resolve our anger and our fear, we really need to go deeper to resolve the effects that are behind this, that are causing us to react this way. And the effects that are behind this, at the root of any hurt, we always end up finding the most clean and pure feeling of just being sad. And that's very, very healthy. So when we're just feeling sad, that means we are not reacting to it. We're not complaining about being sad. And if we're not reacting to it mentally, we're not complaining to ourselves about being sad, we're not fearing being sad, we are just allowing the feeling of being sad to be there in our bodies, then in this state of just feeling, there is no danger of getting stuck in the sadness. We think we become stuck in the sadness because we're used to getting stuck in our emotionalisation of the sadness, which is our thoughts about it, our complaints about it, our criticisms of it, and our fear of it. But this is a secondary state to the actual sadness of feeling. This is the emotionalized, supercharged state of emotion. So emotion is not feeling. Emotion is a state that is prolonged through all of our thoughts and ideas about how we're feeling. And in that state, we find ourselves going on and on and on, getting stuck in the story of our life that we're upset about. And this is where we get stuck. We get stuck in emotion. We get stuck in our thoughts and complaints, but we don't get and won't get stuck in feeling. Because feeling the feeling of sadness is how the feeling ultimately comes to its own end. The energy of the feeling of sadness is felt in our bodies. When we feel that, that will dissipate simply through the act of feeling it. When we react to it and emotionalize it, we are getting away from the pure feeling of it. We are in that state of reaction and emotionalizing of anger and fear to life and being frightened of our own sadness. In that mentalized state, we are prolonging a very different level altogether, a different state again, which is emotion. And that is prolonged indefinitely as long as we continue the story of our life, or the story of our situation, or the remembering of what's made us that way, or the reaction to life whenever it triggers that from the depths of our own body. So this is emotion. This is the story, and that we get caught up in. That's what we get stuck in. And because we've got stuck in that before, when I talk about being in the feeling of your sadness or the feeling of any sensation in your body, people often think, oh, what if I get stuck there? I'm frightened to do that because I might just drown in my sadness. You don't drown in sadness. You drown in emotion. You drown in emotionalism. You drown in it because you get stuck in all these reactionary thoughts and distresses that you attach to a pure feeling. So the pure feeling is the sensation of the body. It is the natural condition of the animal you are, and exactly what the animal that you are is feeling as a result of being hurt. So you feel sad. You feel that sadness, and when you're feeling that sadness, why this is very important, why this is very significant, is because you're right at the core fundamental effect, the first effect, the most significant effect of being hurt through your life or being treated badly, is it simply makes you feel sad. The secondary effect is you lash out at what's hurt you. That's a secondary effect. That's the effect of defending or fighting back. But when that comes to an end and all that's really left, without defense, without a fight, without all this mentalization, without our arrogance and our ego and our pride getting in the way, we just come back to, I'm hurt and I'm sad. And when I feel that sadness, I'm no longer thinking about the situation or the person who's caused me to be sad. I'm therefore not caught up in the world and people outside of me. I'm completely there for and within myself in the condition of me being sad. And that is how to really be there for yourself. Once you've come back to the actual feeling that you're left in as a result of the life you're living, that feeling is all that remains inside of you. The thinking is really a superficial, external thing. The emotion is a very superficial and external thing. It's always attached to the story that keeps that emotion fired and triggered. Whereas feeling is not attached to that thought-induced story. That's not attached to that emotionalized story. The feeling is simply how the body is left feeling after being hurt. And in that feeling, that's where you really begin to heal. So you will not get stuck when you're truly feeling. And truly feeling is a physical sensation felt, and with sadness, in this case of sadness, it's a feeling that you'll mostly feel in your throat, your chest and your lungs. And feeling that there enables it to dissipate. So it's when you feel that depth, when you actually get to that depth, you're in touch with where you can heal. You're in touch with the raw sensation that is healable. But whilst you remain maintaining your emotionalism, your story, and your story about your life, and your exaggeration on the sadness by adding this big story and reactions to what's caused you to be sad, whilst you're in that state, it doesn't come to an end. It just goes on and on and on for a very long time. And this is what does the damage. Whereas feeling the sadness, rather than complaining about having been hurt or complaining about feeling sad, just feeling the sadness, because the sadness is what is actually there in you as a result of what you've been through, and feeling that allows it to dissipate and completely come to its own natural end. And in this way, you will process any sadness that you feel. But the thing I'm wanting to emphasize here is this sadness is an extremely important feeling. I'd say probably one of the most important feelings for your healing that you'll ever know of, because it ultimately is how we're left feeling when we are hurt, when we're treated badly. We ultimately feel this sensation in our bodies of sadness. And it's a very pure, clean, natural way to feel when you're being hurt or treated badly. You simply feel sad. And that's it. And feeling sad is feeling only the result of how you've been treated, not going into some sort of defensive, reactionary state towards the treatment. You've been treated badly. What is the result is you've been affected. That is the fact. The treatment's over, you're left with the effects. You can keep fighting and complaining about the world outside of you and how it's treated you badly, but by doing that, you are not getting in touch with the effect. You're just getting caught up in the fight. And why are you fighting and complaining about the world outside of you? Because primarily, you're in some type of fearful reaction or concern about being sad. You don't need to be concerned about being sad. Being sad is one of the fundamental principal feelings of a human being, of any organism actually. Every living animal is going to feel sad many hundreds of times throughout its life. The reason we feel sad is because this is the feeling that we naturally feel when treated badly, and in feeling that sadness, we are no longer caught up in reacting to the things that have happened that we can't change. We've accepted those facts, and we're left with also accepting the effect of those facts. And so the second and the deepest fact is I am sad. And that's the only one that matters. Once you've been hurt, it's over. That's got no value anymore. Thinking about that has no more value. What has the value is accepting the fact that that's happened, and there's nothing I can do about what's already happened. It's already happened. There's only something I can do about how it's affected me. And what can I do about how it's affected me when I'm left feeling the way I am, in the effect of that, in the sadness of that in my own body? What I can do about that is already happening naturally in the body. What I can do about that is simply feel it. But when I'm just feeling that, I'm no longer thinking about what's caused that. I'm no longer thinking about the situation in my life that's made me sad or even making me sad. I'm just being with the sadness whenever it comes to me, or whenever it builds up inside of me to a point where I can really feel it. And feeling that is the correct and only true response to the fundamental level that we get to when we drop all the complaints, all the rejections, all the avoidance of the facts of life, and we just come back to there's nothing we can do about what's happened. It's already happened. There's only something we can do about how we are, and what we need to do about how we are in the situation of sadness is just feel it. And that sadness, in feeling that sadness, not only will the sadness itself dissipate, but it will allow you to heal. This will bring about a healing of the hurt that is making you sad. A healing of yourself will come about simply through feeling that sadness to its end. And when the sadness is felt to its end, it won't be there anymore. And that's when you really have got over whatever has made you sad. Then the next time something happens, sadness will be there again, but it's a new sadness. Yeah? It's once again there as the result of the effect of being harmed again. And again, when you feel that, and you feel that to its end, the point at which it comes to an end is the point at which you are over the effects of being hurt, and therefore over that part of your life that's hurt you. That's when you really have got over something. When the sadness and the hurtful effect from it is felt to its end, that means you have brought it to its own end in your own natural way within yourself. Like any animal, when it gets hurt, it doesn't rage around complaining and complaining about the things that are hurting it. It doesn't go off and think about it and talk about it to everybody, because it can't think in that way and it can't talk in that way. It can talk and can think, but not in that way. Lucky animal. What does the animal do? It goes off quietly on its own to just feel the hurt. And just feeling that is how the animal that we are heals. That's whatever animal we are. And the animal that we are heals in exactly the same way. So sadness is not a dangerous thing. Emotion is dangerous to you, but sadness is not. Sadness will never harm you. Feeling your sadness doesn't mean you're going to go further and deeper into a state of so-called depression. Depression is a state which is mentalizing sadness. When we mentalize and psychologize sadness, when we add to sadness this big dramatic story, in fact, it's not even having to be big. It's just a continuous complaint about things in our life that bring about a state that we call depression. When we drop that complaint, what are we left with? We're just left with an underlying sadness. But we can't drop that complaint because we're caught up in it. So rather than, and we don't even realize we're doing it when we're depressed. So rather than thinking I've got to drop my complaint, just come back to the effects, the deep effects of that complaint. When you're complaining about something, what does it do? It just makes you feel sad. It makes you feel upset and sad about the way that something is. So come back to that feeling. What happens when you come back to just feeling? You are now dropping deeper beneath your thoughts that are the cause of depression into the feeling that has been exaggerated by those thoughts, and being with that exaggerated feeling, now that you've stopped thinking about that feeling and yourself and your situation in that way, you're just back with the feelings. At first it's a little exaggerated because of how you've been thinking about yourself or your world, but just being with it without those thoughts, you're in the pure feeling again. At first it's quite strong, it's quite nasty, quite horrifying to feel, but just feeling that, it settles back down into the pure healing sensation of sadness. And once you're into your sadness, there you are. You're completely safe there. All that's going to happen now is you are only going to recover. That is going to heal you. So the only thing you have to be aware of is emotionalizing sadness. Because when you emotionalize sadness, you won't be able to get over your sadness. You won't be able to heal. Because in the emotionalization of it, in your stories and your thoughts and your reactions to the way it feels to be you, you are once removed from the pure, healthy feeling of sadness into the tainted mixture of thoughts and what we call emotionalization. And this thinking about yourself is a taint, a mixture of thoughts and feelings, which is a tainting of that feeling, changing it from what it really feels like into an overwhelming sensation, which is actually charged by the way in which you are in reaction to the world outside of you or reaction to the feeling inside of you. So emotionalization is caused through reacting to the world as a situation outside of you, or reacting to the feeling, the pure feeling on the inside of your own body. And this is a thought process. So what bridges the inside with the outside is our thinking. Our thinking connects us with that outside world in this way, or it connects back into what we're feeling on the inside. But we get so caught up in that thinking that we actually lose connection with the real genuine facts of the outside world, and we actually lose connection with the real genuine facts of the inner world of our own body, of how it really feels in there. And how we do this is because we create such an emotionally charged story about the outside world that is how we determine our experience of the outside world, no longer experiencing it as it factually and actually is, but only experiencing it in alignment with our complaints about it. Likewise, when we are in reaction to a feeling inside of ourselves, we are no longer experiencing the sensation as it actually and factually is. We are experiencing a taint of that, a distortion of that aligns up with our complaints and fears of feeling the way we feel. So the way we feel has become frightening to us because of our thoughts about it, not because of the feeling itself. And it's also become frightening to us because we associate those natural healthy feelings with the events outside in our life that initially caused us to feel that way. So seeing the facts that those events outside are there, they're the facts. And in most cases, when we're sad about something that's already happened. So it's something in the world outside that's already happened. And that's the fact that you can't do anything about, and you don't need to do anything about it. It's done. It's over. You just leave it as it is, and you come back to how it's left you feeling on the inside. And that way you move on from your past. The past is the event. The present is the sadness within you because of the event. And that present being there is when you're feeling that, you are now dealing with something real. You are now dealing with the real effect of what you've been through. And that's left inside of you. As I said before, in the case of trauma, unknown trauma, there could be a lot of sadness there. And with a lot of sadness there, you're going to feel sad a lot and for a long time. Now, there's no problem with that if you don't have a problem with sadness. And today, I'm trying to help you see that sadness is such a beneficial feeling. It is not an emotion, it is a beneficial feeling. It is both healing your body of distress and hurt, whilst at the same time keeping you calm and quiet and in connection with yourself as you truly are, rather than getting emotionally distracted with the world and the things outside of you that you don't like, that you think you don't like, when in fact the only reason you don't like them is because primarily you don't like how it is feeling inside of yourself. And the same thing, why don't you like how you're feeling inside of yourself? Because you're not truly feeling how it is inside of yourself. You're only feeling the product of your emotionalization of that feeling. You're only feeling your reaction to that feeling. And that's not going to help you. That's where we get stuck, in a void. That is literally what hell is. Stuck in between reality of the inside, reality of the outside, in our own fantasized distortion of both. And we can't get anywhere there. That is our own living hell that we ourselves have manufactured. And that is all unreal. It's real in the sense that how it affects us, but itself is not made up of reality. It's a distraction from reality, and it prevents us from seeing life as it really is and from feeling feelings as they really are. And so this is a dangerous thing to do. And it's very important to understand the difference. And so sadness is such an important feeling for any creature. It is a constant when it's there, but you sort of come into contact with it, then you lose contact with it. You come into contact with it, you lose contact with it. That's okay, because when you get more superficial, more busy in your day, you tend to lose contact with it. And then when you're quiet and you're on your own again, and you're not thinking too much, you start to feel that sadness that is actually there inside of you. That's time to feel it. That's when you need time. You need quiet time with yourself just to feel these feelings and let them process and let them heal and let yourself recover from these effects inside of you. But these effects are not wrong. They're not bad. Sadness is not a bad thing. It's not something that's unhealthy for the body. Depression, which is the thought reaction to it, that's unhealthy. But that is what you need to go beneath, the stories that create this depression, which is an exaggeration and a total distortion on simply feeling hurt, on simply feeling sad. And just coming back to that, you're dropping from all this non-stop thinking back into the pure sensations of the body. And in those pure sensations of the body, you don't have to do anything. You can't do anything. There's nothing you can do about that sadness. You have to give over to it. You have to simply do nothing but feel it. Continue to feel that from within your own body. Now that which is within your own body, emanating from within your own body, this is the language of your body. This is listening and understanding yourself. Listening to and understanding yourself. So listening to meaning really feeling into the feeling of what it is to be you in the body of you. You have feelings in your body. You have emotions in your thinking. They're quite different things. Emotionalisation is a thought-induced state. And this is harmful. Whereas feeling is an animal state, a natural state that is not caused by your thinking, but that is actually the result of whatever you're living with now or have lived through before, and that you haven't resolved yet. So these feelings that are always going on, this is how you learn to listen to and be guided by your body. So you don't, when you come back to these feelings, you're not doing anything with them. They're already doing what they need to be doing. Within the body is already doing what it already needs, what it only needs to do. And that is, it's already doing the feeling. It's already feeling. And that feeling that is there of its own volition, that is there because it is the natural state you are in today. That is the effect of your life today, that you are feeling there. That's how you should be feeling. That feeling is telling you about your life today. It's telling you that something's made you sad. We're talking about sadness. It's helping you understand the effect it's had on you, because you can feel that effect. So it's showing you directly, as an immediate feeling of yourself, your body is informing you, the body, of the condition you're in, whilst at the same time, in being in that condition of feeling it, the informing of that condition is happening at exactly the same time and in exactly the same way as healing that condition. So feeling is the language of the body. Feeling is the natural healing process of the body. So the feelings that are going on naturally are the natural meditations of the body. And this is what I've discovered through my 45 years as a meditator, is that natural meditation is real meditation. We don't conjure it through our thinking. We don't manipulate or affect the way we're feeling from using thoughts or techniques to change the way we are. That's the outside-in approach of meditation techniques. The inside-out approach that is already happening all day for all of us is what's happening in and from the body of us. So when we get to that depth in the body of us, just feeling, because it's the only place you do feel and can feel, just feeling the sensations of how it is to be me today, this is allowing those sensations to process and heal in their own time. Whatever information, whatever distress, whatever suppressions have accumulated in the body of you, because that's where they are accumulating, by feeling the condition of that, that's the meditation that's all about you. And as I said before, when you're feeling it, you're coming to understand yourself in that moment in the way you feel. You're coming to understand yourself in that moment in your relationship to what's happened in your life. But more importantly, or just as importantly, you are healing the effects of that in a completely natural way, without dramatizing it, without having to go to a therapist, without getting all caught up in thinking about it and analyzing it. You are just coming back to what the body is capable of doing naturally, and that is you, the body, are capable of healing yourself. But you have to understand the difference between reacting to yourself in the way you are and simply feeling yourself. And that's what I've been talking about today. The reactions come from the outside in. So anything you do, any technique you do to change the way you are is a manipulation of the way you are into something that isn't you, into a feeling of you that isn't really a feeling of you at all. It's a feeling that you've conjured, a state that you've conjured from the outside in. And this is just homogenizing you. This is not helping you know you. This is helping you be what you think you're supposed to be and know that. And that's got nothing to do with you. If you want to know you, you have to find that from inside of you, not from some externally applied or learnt technique. You have to find that from inside of the body of you. What is already happening on the inside of you? That is the natural meditation of the body. This is where we first got the idea of meditating from, is because in the body healing itself through the feeling of itself, and recovering from whatever effects of life happen, and recovering from whatever confusions about ourselves that can occur through those effects. That is the understanding of ourselves being recovered, being firstly of our state in which we are damaged, and then through the healing of that state, coming out of that damaged state to once again know ourselves in the undamaged, untainted state. This is a completely natural process that is inbuilt in the living organism, in the natural intelligence of the body that we are. And so this natural meditation of the body is something I'm going to guide you through now, for the sake of you learning to deal with your own sadness. So however you're feeling inside the body of you right now, you may not be sad right now, but if you're watching this video, the good chance is that you have some sadness in your life right now, meaning in your body right now, because your body is essentially the life of you. And of course, the life of you is affected by your life outside of you. And those effects resonate as a sensation in our bodies, causing how it feels to be ourselves from moment to moment. In any moment we come back to the sensations of the body, we find out in there and from there exactly how we are. What we think about that is often biased and tainted and incorrect entirely. We would judge that. We will criticize that. And this causes us a different experience, causes us to have the fabricated experience of our judgments, of our criticizing, of how we naturally feel. We feel some sadness and we emotionalize over that. We create our story that has caused us sadness. We replay the story of our life that has made us sad in the first place. And as long as we're playing that, we are exaggerating the sadness into a hurtful and harmful and distressful, supercharged state of emotion. And these become so difficult to live with inside of ourselves that they burst out of us, projected onto people around us. And this is emotionalized feeling. It's not truly the pure feeling at all. So how do we get back to the pure feeling? It's just come back into the sensations, meaning rather than being stuck in your thinking, just ignore your thinking for now, and come back into any feeling that's deep within the sensations as the sensations of sadness in your own body. You may not be sure that what you're feeling is sadness, but wherever you are feeling, whatever you are feeling, particularly in your chest and throat, you'll feel in there any sadness that is existing in you. And for most of us, sadness is there. It's not doing any harm. It's just there to be felt. Once you drop beneath your argument with the world outside, you're just back to the condition that you find yourself in. Feeling that sadness is perfectly fine. Just feel that, how it feels in your chest and throughout your torso. You may feel it throughout your whole body if you're really, really sad. Just feeling that now. Feeling that rather than rejecting it. Wherever you feel hurt or sad, that is a part of you. for now. That is not your enemy. That is you. That is your pain. That is your sadness. It's very important not to reject this part of you. Very important not to judge it and attack it by trying to get rid of it. It's very important to embrace it, to allow it to be there, to be here inside our own bodies. And if the feeling isn't exactly known to you, whether it's sadness or something close to it, that's not important. What's important is that whatever you are feeling right now is your meditation. You're just there right now for you, as you are right now. You will change by feeling this. And again, later in your life, you'll find yourself sad again. If you know how to live with your sadness, you won't suffer it. You won't prolong it through your emotionalizations. You will simply accept it and feel it. Why? Because the only other thing you can do is deny it and avoid it. And that's lying to yourself. Meditation is being honest with yourself. It's essential to be truthful with yourself. Don't lie to yourself right now. Absolutely admit and feel how you do feel. Drop into the feeling of you inside your body right now. Any sadness that is there may go quite deep. This is a part of you that by avoidance and denial you have lost touch with. By losing touch with it, the healing process is interfered with. The natural meditation of your own body healing itself through everything it feels is interfered with when you disconnect into thinking about yourself. But it is recoverable through reconnecting into the feeling of yourself in the living body of you. Just feeling that sadness. If it comes up very strong and you find yourself crying or upset, just contain that inside of you. Contain the feeling of that inside your own body. You are not doing this to try and get this feeling out of you. That is a rejection of a part of you. What you are doing is learning to allow yourself to be the way you are, to live with yourself however it feels to be you, without rejection. Whether you like it or not is of secondary importance. Primarily, what is important is that you have no real choice other than to be exactly how you are in this moment. And you only have this moment. So you can't be any other way. Right now, This is how you're supposed to be. This is a part of you that you need to allow to be there, to become fully a part of you again, to integrate with these deeper, pure sensations at the very core of your body, of your being. The purest sensation of simply being sad. In everything you heal throughout your life, any harm you heal, inevitably you will arrive here, back in the core of the purest feeling of sadness. So here you are now. Feel it and let it fulfill you. To get what you need fulfills you. And this is the feeling of you right now. Then this is what you need right now. Let that fill you. Let that be known as the feeling it is. And in this way, know yourself and your needs simultaneously in the feeling of these. The knowing feeling of the body. Don't try and change it. Just let your body take care of this feeling process. Let your body run free. Let your body, let yourself as a body just be the way you are. Take your time to investigate in this immediate way of feeling. Be with the feeling of sadness whenever it comes up. Just be with it and see where it takes you. In the end, it will take you to its end. In the recovery from the effects of your life. If you've enjoyed this talk, rather than just being entertained by the talk, I encourage you to download my meditation and healing app, undoapp.com, and take your time studying that. That will teach you so much about yourself, and you will unlearn so much that's stuck in there as well. And in that app, using it from the beginning to the end, you will come to a point through there where you will really understand a deep meditation, the deepest meditation of the body itself, a deeply healing meditation is what you will gain from doing my app. Thanks for joining me today. If this talk resonated with you or helped you in any way at all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the talk with your friends so that they can get the benefit as well. Okay, Bye for now.